Okay, let's talk about color palettes. So just like you would choose specific colored markers for when you're recording on paper, the same applies to when you're working digitally. So by clicking on the little circle at the top right-hand corner of your screen, you're gonna open up your color palettes library. And here's where you can create your own custom color palettes and then save them for future use. So to create a new custom color palette, you're gonna click on that little plus sign at the top of the screen, and you'll see that you have this new color palette up here. So there's nothing in it, it's waiting for you to add some colors to it. So one of my favorite ways to bring in new color palettes is by finding an inspiration out in the world. So whether that's a photograph that I find or something that I see on the street, you just want to make sure that you have a photograph of it. That's the main point, because then you can import it in here and you can use the color picker tool to pull out all the colors and create a custom palette. So one of my favorite sites to go to for finding good color palettes is called Color Hunt. And I'm just gonna pop that open. There it is. So this really has so many different color palette options, and they're all really unique. This just makes it so much easier, and it's max like 4 to 5 colors. So there's not too many colors in each palette, which is great because you don't want to use too many colors. It's just too much to manage when you're taking live notes. So let's go ahead and choose one of these. I like this one. I'm gonna choose this color palette. So one of the cool things is that you can save this palette right to your iPad. So you can do this also by taking a screenshot, but why do that if you can just directly save it? So I can click here and say, yep, I wanna download this. And it will not go to your photos folder. So just note that it's not gonna go to your photos. It's instead gonna go to your files. So there's my files, and there's the color palette that I just imported. So I know it's there, and now we can go back to Procreate. So I wanna go up to the wrench icon where I can access all my actions and click on the Add button up here. And then I want to insert a file. Remember, since it's not a photo, it's a file, I'm gonna select that. And then there it is. I'm gonna bring that in. And it's imported it. And notice that the Move tool is selected right now so that I have the option of moving this around. It doesn't really matter where you place this, you just wanna make sure it's on your canvas. I'll click on the Move tool once it's in the right spot. And here's where we're gonna use the color picker tool to pull out these colors and add them to our custom color palette. So you have 2 different ways that you can access the color dropper tool. You can click here on this button in the middle of your brush size and brush opacity sliders, and a color dropper tool will appear. You can also just press and hold with your finger, and that will open up a color dropper tool. In my opinion, that's a faster way of accessing it. Just press and hold with your finger. This will not work if you do it with your pencil. So just make sure you're pressing and holding with your finger. Okay, so I just selected that first color, and I can see that the little circle at the top here is reflecting that color. I'm gonna open up my color palettes library here, go to this new color palette, and I see that that's still on the right color, and then I'm just gonna tap on one of those little boxes, and I'll see that the color appears there. So success, first color is added. I'm gonna go back out to the canvas and do the same thing with the next color down. Make sure it's reflected there, great. And I'm just gonna tap again. Okay, continue forward. Okay, and there I have all the colors from this palette. So if you accidentally made 2 of the same color, you can easily delete it by pressing and holding on the square that you want to delete, and then you'll have an option to delete there. And you can also rename the color palette to whatever you want it to be. This kind of reminds me of like a cool summer night, so that's what I'm gonna name it. And I included 3 of my custom color palettes in the bundle that you can get with my custom brushes. So if you want to start out with some color palettes to play with, you can just download a copy of that and get 3 of my favorite palettes. Okay, and that's how you can easily import custom color palettes into Procreate.